we've actually got some brand new updates and leaks regarding the next Ghost Recon game, which, if you've been following this channel for a while, you'll know we've talked about quite a lot. I'll leave some of my previous Ghost Recon videos in the description below, so if you want to catch up on everything we know so far, you can check those out. But yeah, we've got some interesting new information today, and honestly, this next Ghost Recon game is starting to sound very different from both Wildlands and Breakpoint. So, let's get into it. Tom Henderson previously stated that the next Ghost Recon game would be Ubisoft's next major release after Assassin's Creed Black Flag Red, and now, we've got some brand new leaks from the account Again TX, with additional information reportedly coming from Rogue TX. According to these leaks, the next Ghost Recon game will be set in Asia and will take inspiration from tactical shooters like Ready or Not. Now, this actually lines up with something we've heard before. Tom Henderson previously reported that the game would be set on a fictional island somewhere in Southeast Asia, with a fictional war taking place on the island. The ghosts would then become involved in this conflict, so the setting itself doesn't come as a massive surprise. What is interesting, though, is the direction Ubisoft apparently wants to take with the gameplay. We already know this new Ghost Recon is expected to be a first-person game, which is a pretty major change for the franchise. But apparently, Ubisoft is going even further with the tactical side of things. According to the new information, the game will take inspiration from both the recent Modern Warfare games and Ready or Not. And I mean, if you've played Ready or Not, you already know exactly what that could mean. Apparently, there will be much deeper squad mechanics, allowing you to command your teammates during missions. You could potentially order them to check certain areas, breach and smash through doors, clear rooms, and follow your commands. So instead of simply having AI teammates running around with you, the idea seems to be that you'll actually have to use your squad strategically. And honestly, that sounds pretty damn interesting for Ghost Recon. It also sounds like the game is going to focus heavily on room clearing and tactical missions. Think about those iconic close quarters missions from the Modern Warfare games, where you slowly move through a building, check every corner, breach rooms, and carefully deal with enemies. Now imagine taking that concept and expanding it across an entire Ghost Recon game. That seems to be the direction Ubisoft is going for here. And yeah, I know some people might hear first-person Ghost Recon and immediately say, that doesn't sound like Ghost Recon. And I completely understand that. Wildlands and Breakpoint were heavily built around third-person movement, open world exploration and customization. But at the same time, Ghost Recon originally had a much stronger tactical identity. So if Ubisoft is genuinely trying to bring the series back towards its tactical roots, I can see why they would want to experiment with this approach. Another interesting detail is the user interface. Apparently, Ubisoft is planning to make more limited compared to previous Ghost Recon games, and honestly, I think that's a good thing. One of the biggest complaints people have had with Ubisoft's open world games is just how much information gets thrown at you. You have markers everywhere, objectives everywhere, icons everywhere, and sometimes it feels like the game is practically telling you exactly where to look. This new Ghost Recon apparently wants to tone that down. So instead of having the entire screen filled with information, you'll have to pay more attention to your surroundings and your squad. And that could make the game feel much more immersive. The leaks also mention that Ubisoft is pushing further into stealth, realism, and environmental interaction. Again, this is where the Ready or Not comparison becomes really interesting. That game is all about being slow, tactical, and deliberate. You can't just run into every room and start shooting. You need to think about how you approach an area, where your teammates are positioned, and what could potentially be waiting behind the next door. If Ghost Recon can bring that level of tension into a larger scale experience, then honestly, I think we could have something really special here. But that's not all. We've also got another rumor from Jonathan, who is a fairly well-known name within the gaming leak community. He added some additional details about the game, and some of these are pretty interesting. According to him, there is apparently some kind of base or hub that you'll use between missions. You'll have characters to select before heading out, and you'll apparently need to level them up to make them more effective. There could also be weekly quests and similar activities. Now, this makes me wonder about the structure of the game, because if we have a base, characters to select, missions to prepare for, and characters that need to be leveled up, maybe this isn't going to be a traditional massive open world Ghost Recon game after all. It could potentially be more mission-focused. And honestly, I wouldn't necessarily hate that. Wildlands and Breakpoint were both massive open world games, but sometimes that huge open world structure could get in the way of the tactical gameplay if Ubisoft creates smaller, carefully designed environments where every mission feels like an operation. That could actually work extremely well. There was also apparently a permanent death system being tested, similar to something you might see in Honey Showdown. However, according to the rumor, players found it too frustrating during testing, so Ubisoft may have removed it from the main experience. Personally though, I think a system like that could still work as a separate game mode. Imagine having a Ghost Recon mode where your character can permanently die and you have to start again with another operator. Suddenly, every mission becomes much more intense. You'd actually care about getting your squad home alive. And that's exactly the kind of tension I think Ghost Recon could benefit from. Overall, this really does feel like Ubisoft is trying to reboot the identity of Ghost Recon. It sounds like we're getting something completely different from Breakpoint and Wildlands. And honestly, I'm pretty excited about that. That doesn't mean I want Ubisoft to completely abandon the style of Wildlands and Breakpoint. I actually really enjoyed both games, and I would absolutely love to see another third-person Ghost Recon game in the future. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Ubisoft eventually had different teams working on different versions of the franchise. You could have one Ghost Recon focused on this new first-person tactical experience, while another game continues the open-world, third-person formula. That way, Ubisoft could essentially cover both sides of the franchise. And considering how much post-launch content Wildlands and Breakpoint received, I also wouldn't be surprised if this new game gets plenty of updates after launch. Who knows, maybe a third-person mode could even be added later if there's enough demand for it. But for now, everything we're hearing points towards a very different Ghost Recon. First-person gameplay, a Southeast Asian setting, deeper squad commands, more realistic stealth, limited hide elements, and a much stronger focus on tactical room clearing. If Ubisoft actually manages to execute all of this properly, this could be one of the most interesting Ghost Recon games we've had in years. But obviously, remember that all of this is based on leaks and reports, so things can still change before the game is officially revealed. And now I want to know what you think. Would you actually want a first-person, heavily tactical Ghost Recon game? Or do you think Ubisoft should stick with the third-person formula from Wildlands and Breakpoint? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe for more Ghost Recon news, leaks, and updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.